Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for you from the test server. This is the first raid technically, because Machine is the second raid. This is the first raid, H.I.V.E base. This is just going to be my first impressions. This isn't the first time I've done it. The other recordings were corrupted, so I just got to run together here on test, thankfully today. I also have the duo, the alert, and like 3 or 4 open world missions recorded and rendered as well. I'll have that up probably tomorrow because I'm trying to space out these videos somewhat, so I'm not like shoving tons of videos all at once, because of course I want you to kind of view them as well to keep you interested and stuff like that, and hear my impressions on them. So that video will probably be up tomorrow morning or late tonight, something like that, probably tomorrow. And then at that point, just I'll wait until more updates come out and kind of update you on that, because then at that point I've covered all the content. More housekeeping things before I get into the raid. This one, the Type 2 implants. I finally got one upgraded, which I don't show here. I'll probably show in another video once I get a 2 upgraded, because I'm looking to see, what I've noticed so far is I should be getting, at least in this content, I have the plus 2% because I have one mod to the Type 2 to 15. Some of this might not make sense to you because you're not watching my other video, but if you understand about the Type 2 implants or followed me for my augment video, I'm just looking to see now if they stack, because right now they don't show up in the tooltip menu. So roughly I can see that I'm getting the 2%, but I can't really tell yet, but I'll update that when I know more. In regards to the raid, primarily the enemies and the bosses, besides the last 2, are based on the H.I.V.E NPCs, which yes, they're recycled, but at the same time, like H.I.V.E Moonbase and that H.I.V.E Duo, that was like, you know, when the game first came out. So we haven't seen these like B-bombs, not B-bombs, the dive bombers. Buzzcut is the first boss. We haven't seen him since the alert. So at the same time, like, it's not like the same recycled garbage that we see every single content. At least with the hives and the bees and stuff and the wasps and all the enemies, we haven't seen in quite some time. So it'll be a bit of a refresher especially for new people to the game. So I don't necessarily mind that. This raid H.I.V.E is more like, you know, the TTB, whatever. It's meant to be like a quick, super simple, normal raid. This is normal. We're running 2 healers. You don't need 2 healers. If you're going to melee, you might want it, because there's a couple spots that I'll mention that are a bit annoying, because I'm melee throughout this entire time. Just to show you that it could. Same thing with the elite. Like, I haven't done H.I.V.E elite, but I've talked to other people that have, and they said it's really straightforward. Beat as well. There's a couple spots where things get a bit hectic, but at the same time, like, it's nothing like, you'll definitely beat H.I.V.E elite the first day or something. It's not as easy as Pano, or TTB probably, but it's easier than SS elite. Let's see. In terms of mechanics, because I'm probably not going to talk for the full 20 minutes here, because there's not that much stuff that's wrong with this. Like, it's pretty balanced the way it is. I find that I'm kind of spoil the raid for you, I guess. But the second boss is Deathstroke. That's actually a neat mechanic fight. You'll see it once I get to here. What I'll do is I'll put in the comment section. I'll skip to like first boss, second boss, third boss, so you can kind of see, unless you want to watch the entire raid. But I'll skip it there. So the first boss is Buzzcut. Exactly the same mechanics as the alert, if you remember that. He's got his like uppercut snare that hits for like 60k. I die a couple times on this. But it's a skull attack, so technically I could have blocked and avoided it, but I just kind of kept DPSing through because I thought I could with 2 healers. He's got some AoE damage as well, but you can react to that with a soda. It's not like sudden spike damage, so I'm not too concerned about that. And I saw a couple people die in my previous runs at the same fight too. So this fight is, you can melee it, it's just you might die a couple times. Like, it's not, I don't think you're going to survive the entire time melee. It's just one of those bosses where he's got some splash damage that's going to kill you. But besides that, it's a really straightforward fight. You DPS him, there's going to be those turrets are going to activate on the outside and shoot some like electro balls at you that are going to stun you and interrupt you. But other than that, there's nothing like really mechanic heavy. It's just a tank and spank encounter. In Elite, it's a bit hectic, I hear, just because of how much ads comes out at the same time. So obviously that'll make sense, because you want to separate the ads from the boss, or you're just going to split tons of damage and eventually die from splash damage. Well, besides that, it's a really straightforward fight. In terms of the second fight, like I said, it's Deathstroke. What I'll do is I'll stop narrating, and you can just listen to the raid footage or whatever, and then I'll skip ahead so when I'm actually talking about this fight, so I'm not like explaining a bunch of stuff about Deathstroke and you can't even see him in the background. So I'll stop the narration for now and kind of pick it up when that boss fight starts. And same thing, annotations will be in the comments.
Terra where they are. She was so eager to play her part in your team's demise. Like a putty in my hands. She even thinks I'm the father she never had. You son of a... Shut it, kid. You came for a fight? So fight.
Okay, so this will be the second fight for Deathstroke. This one's actually, kind of nice. There's some mechanics to this that we haven't seen in a while. It's similar to Throne, where he's going to spawn whatever this pillar in the center, and then the I'm not exactly 100% sure yet, but I know for a fact that at least one from each role is going to get affected, where you're essentially debuffed. Basically, you're only going to hit for 1 damage. and you may not be, tanks will drop aggro, stuff like that. So you have to run to the side and turn the cog on the corresponding pillar. To me, you'll see like the damage symbol. I'm sure the controllers will see the controller symbol, etc. And until you turn that cog, you're not going to do any damage on Deathstroke. Now, I was trying to see if it's the closest roll to Deathstroke each time. So see right now, it's going to come up in a sec. When that pillar comes up and spins that ore or whatever, you see him only doing 1 damage. So then I got to run to the cog. I'm almost positive that it's the closest roll. That's how it worked in Throne. If you were the closest roll to the boss, then you were targeted by his mechanic. The other DPS said, or I didn't get every DPS, but I think it was Lego or something. He said he wasn't affected. And I know I was the closest each time because I was melee. So it would make sense if it's the closest boss to him that gets targeted. I died a few times in this fight. It's just because the tank, obviously his mechanic was that he had to turn the cog, and then I'm the closest Deathstroke getting all the aggro, so I died a few times just from Deathstroke attacking me or flamethrower, stuff like that. So, but other than that, I'm pretty sure it's the closest roll. That would make sense to me. And I'm assuming it's when he starts his phase. So like a Throne, even if you ran behind someone and you weren't the farthest and you weren't teleported. So there might be something like that where if you're a melee DPS, you can kind of get out of range. Around the fight here, I'm not sure how the narration is syncing up. You're going to see these red platforms form on the floor. Basically, that's just going to be damage over time if you're standing on them. And I'm sure in Elite they're going to one-shot or something. You've got enough time to react, so even if you see me land or stand on one, it's only hitting for, what was it, 20k? So yeah, 20k is a lot, but at the same time I've got like, 60,000 health, so I can survive at least a couple shots and roll off, because Deathstroke is not doing any really damage to the group, so the only damage is from those floor traps. So all you have to do is just roll to a spot on the floor that obviously doesn't have a red ore on it, and then you're safe standing there. And then that phase lasts a few seconds. So I think it'd be more a fun fight at least. The same thing, the neutralizer came up, now I've got to go turn the cog. Halfway through the fight, I could destroy that neutralizer, and you see me attacking it. I'm not exactly sure if I need to do that, because obviously you're not doing any damage to Deathstroke at that point. And I'm probably going to die here again, because I think this is when Earth Force is turning the cog, so I got aggro on Deathstroke. So definitely in Elite you're going to need 2 tanks for that, because well, you probably need 2 tanks for all fights, but you definitely have the issue if you're losing dropping aggro. Or unless you retaunt right before and then you got 12 seconds to turn the cog, but probably not worth the risk. And then he's going to spawn this armor. I'm not exactly sure what the armor does. I guess you just have to break it. Maybe he is a bit stronger, but I've only done H.I.V.E, I think like twice, because the other times it was the first day when we DC'd halfway through, so I didn't really get a chance to pick up on all the mechanics. I was going to use this footage to kind of walk through and look at it, but essentially the main mechanics is that neutralizer for the rolls, 1 of each roll, and then you've got the floor traps. His armor really is not an issue, just regular damage to break that. And besides that, it's just Deathstroke's normal attacks. Flip slash, flamethrower, stuff like that. Use Deathstroke, as long as you stay at Deathstroke's back, it really does no damage. That's why I'm trying to get to his back, but it just depended on where the tank was standing. But yeah, that's essentially this fight. It's an interesting fight. I'm sure it'll be interesting in Elite, but at least it's more interesting than say any of the fights in TTB or anything like that. So it's I got to give them props for at least making a semi-interesting fight.
Honor. One day you'll understand.
Sheriff?
It's me. Let's go save your friends.
been sitting here forever. What is Slade doing?
It's me, Jericho. I'm in control of his body.
Terra. Damien, I want you to take Jericho and the rest of the crew. Go after Terra. Red Robin and I will rescue you.
That is the best tactical decision you've made yet. Well, Batman's a ratty little bastard. Think you and these rejects can stop me? Get real, creep. I'm done holding back. You're dead. Good thing I brought reinforcements then. What the hell are you doing with them? We had a deal. We were a team. Partnered.
Did you think your partner was a weak little girl who cries for her daddy? Ugh.
No one wants you, Terra. Not the Titans, not Slade, not even your parents. Shut up! He said I was his princess. He said.
Okay, now this will be the final fight with Terra, and this is the most disappointing aspect of this entire raid. This final fight is a complete joke. There's no mechanics. Terra doesn't even like remotely hurt the group at all. You'll see like halfway through the raid, or halfway through the fight, sorry, we're split off in like 2 different sections where we have to kill one ad and then go back to it. The most annoying thing about Terra is like her knockback that like heart stuns you, so you have to like get up slowly. You can't break out of that. But that's about it. You'll see like at this point here, we get some lava on the floor. I'm sure that damages you. It's kind of like a labyrinth. I'm sure the lava floor will damage, and then the other 2 sections, you just have to kill one ad, and then it goes back to Terra, and you fight her, and then a bunch of ads come out. So it's to me, this fight was the total letdown. Like Deathstroke was the least interesting. I wouldn't say it was a hard fight because it's really just do no damage to you. It's more the mechanics that you have to deal with, not so much him being like a hard boss, which is interesting. And then we got Terra, who I didn't really concern myself with any mechanics. I just kept DPSing. Ads would come out. I kept DPSing. You know, that's about it. Defeating rock creatures, and then I guess it's going to be like TTB, where you just pick up the rock after killing the creature and run to the side. I haven't done Elite, so maybe else can someone speak to that. So maybe in Elite you have to kill the rock creatures to plug those vents, because the vents do a lot more damage over time. Maybe they don't. But it's the same concept of TTB. You kill the rock creatures, get their little orb, run it to the side. But as you can see, there wasn't like a huge concern to do that, because I'm trying to see in my damage screen. I have it up here. I'm not even seeing any poison debris as the damage. Maybe I'm just missing it, but it says, you know, once you kill the rock creatures, their orbs will spawn, but I'm not even seeing any damage from the poison, so there's no real threat to do this. Now, at the same time, I understand I haven't looked into the feats at all. I know there's only 2 pure elite feats in the entire DLC. The rest of the feats are all normal or elite, just like Panny and everything, so they're making it easier on you, so you don't have to do any of the feats in elite except 2 of them. The rest can all be done in normal. But yeah, I'm still not seeing any damage from the poison, unless you have to stand near them or something. Like none of us, like I'm not even focused on the rock creatures. They're just dying from my splash damage. Because at least Rage single target's nice, that I still have the AoE damage from Outrage and Revenge. And then obviously the second hold on E-Chain, so I don't really have to worry about anything. But yeah, that's... I don't really... At the same time, like, I don't even know what to tell the devs to do this. I don't think that they want to make this raid hard, because they want, like, one easy raid and then one slightly harder raid, just like, you know, TTB, SSE. This is going to be the TTB version. I think it's hard enough for regular. Like, it's going to be, like, you know, if this run was, like, 22 minutes, it's going to be 15, 20 minutes per run, something like that. So I'm not, at the same time, I'm not sure if they even want to make it harder. It's just that this last fight is just uninteresting and boring. It's just like you're just killing the boss. Tons of ads come out that like make the fight longer because it splits damage. The poison's not really any concern. You only have to split off from her wall sections once. Was it twice? No, I'm pretty sure it just once. and then you just kill one ad, so that's a joke anyway. So it's, I don't know, I get they're trying to make something look interesting, and I guess the fight room looked interesting, but Terra as a boss is just like a complete joke. There's nothing special about her at all. But that's H.I.V.E, guys. But I really, in the end, like it's about trying to determine if it's balanced or not for live. I think this raid will come out exactly how you see it now. I don't think they're going to tweak it, because at the same time they want a raid that everyone can farm and easy for all the casuals. And this raid's like that. Even now, like even at lower gear, it wasn't that hard either. It just took a bit longer. Like there wasn't like, oh my god, we struggled. I don't think there's any times we ever wiped trying this, even the first time. Like Buzzcut's got a couple attacks that hit hard. Deathstroke's mechanics, but once you figure them out, they're just annoying. They're not like risky at all. And Terra has no attacks that'll really kill you. I'm melee the entire time. So that's it, guys. This raid is what it is. It's designed to be something quick, easy, people can farm, that is semi-interesting, but it's going to be boring and tedious in the end.